She just wanted to make tea. A simple, quiet moment to herself after a long day. But she didn't realize she was wasting time, every single day in the same familiar way. It's funny how routines become so ingrained that we don't even question them anymore. We fill the pot, turn on the stove, and wait. It's just what we do. But what if that routine, that small, seemingly insignificant part of our day, was holding us back? What if it was adding a little bit of friction, a tiny grain of sand into the smooth flow of our lives, day after day? The wait begins. It's always longer than you think. A few minutes that stretch into an eternity. You pick up your phone, scrolling through things you don't really care about, just to fill the silence. Your mind drifts. Did I remember to reply to that email? What am I making for dinner tomorrow? The quiet hum of the house is punctuated by the growing rumble of the water on the stove. You glance over, trying to time it just right. Is it boiling yet? Not quite. Back to the phone. Then that sudden frantic sound, the hiss of water threatening to spill over. You rush to the stove, pulling the pot off just in time, the steam clouding your face. It's a small frustration, a tiny spike of stress in what was supposed to be a moment of calm. And it happens every morning with coffee, every evening with tea, every time you just need a little hot water. It's a recurring character in the story of your day, this small, unnecessary struggle. We think it's just a few minutes, but those minutes add up, and more importantly, they chip away at our peace of mind. It's the constant low-level friction of an inefficient routine. Then one afternoon, she found herself in a friend's kitchen. The light was soft, the conversation easy. Her friend offered her a cup of tea, and she watched, expecting the familiar ritual of pot and stove. But it was different. Her friend picked up a sleek glass vessel, filled it with water, and placed it on a small, discreet base. With a simple click, a soft blue light began to glow from within, illuminating the water as tiny bubbles started to form and dance. There was no loud rumbling, no frantic rush, just a quiet, mesmerizing process. It was a small moment, a simple observation, but it felt like a revelation. Sometimes the simplest upgrades, the ones we never even knew we needed, are the ones that make the biggest difference. It wasn't about some new age technology or a complex gadget. It was just a kettle, but it was a better kettle. And in that quiet, glowing light, she saw not just boiling water, but a simpler way of doing things. Her friend didn't need to explain it. The kettle spoke for itself. Filling it was effortless, straight from the tap. Setting it on its base was a single, smooth motion. One touch and the magic began. The blue LED light wasn't just for show. It was a visual cue, a quiet confirmation that it was working. You could see the water coming to life, the energy transferring silently and efficiently. It was beautiful, in a way. You could watch the whole process, from the first tiny bubble to the full rolling boil. And then, just as it reached its peak, another soft click and the light went out. It was done. The automatic shutoff meant no more watching, no more worrying, no more rushing to prevent a boil-over. The water was perfectly hot, ready and waiting. It was an experience of pure, uncomplicated efficiency. There were no exaggerated claims, no promises of impossible speed. It was just easy. It was how it should be. Soon, this simple device found its way into her own kitchen. And slowly, almost without her noticing, her daily routines began to shift. The morning rush felt a little less rushed. That first cup of coffee was no longer a multi-step process involving the stove. It was just fill, click, and pour. Hot water for her morning oatmeal was ready in an instant, giving her a few extra minutes to actually sit and enjoy her breakfast instead of standing over a simmering pot. Even cooking prep became faster. Need to boil water for pasta? Start with hot water from the kettle, and the stove does the rest in half the time. It became the quiet, reliable workhorse of her kitchen. It wasn't just for tea anymore. It was for instant soups on a cold day, for a quick hot chocolate for a visitor, for sterilizing a baby bottle. It was a tool that streamlined dozens of small tasks, each one saving a few moments, each one removing a little bit of friction from her day. The benefits went beyond just convenience. It was about how it made her space feel. She chose a clear glass model, and the soft blue glow of the LED light added a touch of modern elegance to her countertop. It wasn't just an appliance. It was a design element. Her friends with more industrial-style kitchens had sleek, brushed stainless steel versions that looked just as stunning. It fit in, it elevated the space. And it was designed for a global home, compatible with different voltages. So, whether you were in the US or Europe, it just worked right out of the box. There was no aggressive marketing, no loud branding. It was built on the principle of quiet confidence. It didn't need to shout about its features. Its value was evident in its daily use and its seamless integration into her life and her home's aesthetic. The biggest change wasn't something you could measure in minutes saved. It was emotional. Her mornings became calmer. Instead of a frantic dance around the stove, she could prepare her tea with a sense of peace, watching the water heat up as she gathered her thoughts for the day ahead. Her evening ritual of a cup of herbal tea before bed transformed from a chore into a truly relaxing moment of self-care. Her kitchen, once a place of minor but constant frustrations, felt more organized, more serene. The kettle had its own dedicated spot, always ready, always elegant. The change was subtle but profound. It's not about saving hours. It's about making everyday moments easier, smoother, and more enjoyable. It's about reclaiming those small pockets of time and filling them with peace instead of stress. It's about how the right tools can gently reshape our environment and, in turn, our state of mind. A day is just a collection of small moments strung together. The way we start our morning, the way we wind down at night, these little rituals define our quality of life. Improving them doesn't require a massive overhaul. Sometimes comfort starts with something simple. Something that just works beautifully and quietly every single time. It's about finding the small things that bring a little more ease, a little more joy into the everyday. Thank you for watching.